Dear students, welcome you to session 23 video of the chapter Mutual Funds, 6th semester BCom Financial Management, Mangalore University. In this session, let us understand the different parties to a mutual fund. There are different parties involved in a mutual fund. They are the sponsor, trustees, asset management company, custodian, then the other functionaries like the registrar and transfer agents, brokers, selling agents and distributors, depository participants, bankers, legal advisors and auditors. Sponsor of a mutual fund. Sponsor of a mutual fund is like the promoter of a company. That is, he is the person who is bringing the mutual fund into existence. That is the person who is establishing the mutual fund. The sponsor is required for setting up as well as establishing the mutual fund. The functions of a sponsor is just like that of a function of a promoter of a company. The sponsor has to obtain the license from SEBI, for which it has to satisfy several conditions relating to the capital profits, the track record, default free dealings and so on. These sponsors, they may be banks or financial institutions. The sponsor, he forms a trust and appoints a board of trustees which will carry on the activities of the mutual fund, and the sponsor must contribute at least 40% of the net worth of the asset management company. Now for example, ICICI Bank and Prudential Limited are the sponsors of ICICI Prudential Mutual Fund. So we have mutual fund ICICI Prudential Mutual Fund. The sponsor are ICICI Bank and Prudential Limited. The sponsor is like the promoter of a company who is establishing the mutual funds, and they get registration from the SEBI and appoints trust and all the other activities. Now coming to the trustees or the board of trustees. The sponsor appoints the board of trustees. So the mutual fund can be set up as a trust under the Indian Trust Act of 1881. Then it has to be registered with the SEBI. The investors of the fund are the beneficiaries of the trust. The trustee or the board of trustees should act according to the provisions of the Indian Trust Act. They should protect the interest of the investors, the asset management company and all the other functionaries like the selling agents, brokers, custodian are all accountable to the trustees. The trustees get these powers through a trust deed which is executed by the sponsor in favor of the trustees as per the rules of the SEBI. That is, the sponsor appoints the trustees, and then the trustees act on behalf of the sponsor. Now they appoint the custodian and they are accountable. The trustees are accountable for the property as well as funds of the different mutual fund schemes. Now in the same case of ICICI Prudential Mutual Fund, there is a trust named Prudential ICICI Mutual Fund Trusts. There is a trust called Prudential ICICI Mutual Fund Trust, and this trust carries on the other activities. Next comes the important aspect, that is the asset management company. Asset management company is a company registered under the Indian Companies Act to manage the money invested in mutual fund and to operate the schemes of the mutual fund. So asset management company, we call it as the investment manager. We also call it as the fund manager. So the fund manager, what they do is they handle all the operations such as designing the different schemes, launching the schemes, managing the investments and interacting with the investors. The asset management company, that is the AMC, they design and manage the mutual fund schemes as per the guidelines of Securities Exchange Board of India. So management of mutual fund is done by the asset management company as per the SEBI regulation. There are certain features of asset management company. So said it must be a company which is registered under the Indian Companies Act, and they must register with the SEBI, and they must have a minimum net worth of 10 crores, and the asset management company of one mutual fund cannot be the asset management company of another mutual fund, and these AMCs cannot undertake any other business other than the asset management of a mutual fund. and they sign an investment management agreement with the trustees. The provisions of the agreement should be in accordance with the SEBI regulations, and they charge fees for their investment management, and the investment, sale, purchase of all the securities are done by the asset management company. Now in the same case of ICICI Prudential mutual fund, Prudential ICICI Asset Management Company is there. That is the asset management company of ICICI Prudential Fund. So an asset management company named Prudential ICICI Asset Management Company is registered as per the Indian Companies Act, and it acts as the asset management company of the ICICI Prudential Fund. Now the next person who is involved in the mutual fund business are the custodians. These custodians are responsible for maintaining the securities purchased by the firm. It's actually an independent organization which is taking care of the custody of the securities as well as other assets of the mutual fund. The custodian is responsible for the receipts as well as delivery of the securities, collecting the income, distributing the dividends, etc. So they maintain the accounts, they keep the securities and safe custody. They receive the interest and dividends on these mutual fund and then they record the information on the stock splits and any other corporate action. At the same time, they convert the securities into demat form, dematerialized form. That is another work of custodian. That is, they convert the securities into demat form. Next comes the registrar and other transfer agents. Now what happens is, these are all the other functionaries involved in the mutual fund business. So these are people who are involved in transferring the title of the funds and purchase and sale of units, etc. So they receive the funds and invest the funds in various units. They maintain the record of the unit holders accounts. They perform the function of transfer of investments, documents as well as records. Then we have the brokers. Brokers are the members of the stock exchange who has to register with the SEBI and who are appointed for the purchase and sale of securities. For example, we have this Karvi Securities, Geojit and Zerodha. They all are brokers who are the members of the stock exchange who are appointed for the purchase and sale. Then we have the selling agents and distributors. So mutual funds will select certain agents to popularize the units of the mutual funds among the investors. Then the depository participants. These are important party involved in the mutual fund business. You may be familiar with the depositories like the NSDL or CDSL, that is National Securities Depository Limited or Central Depository Services Limited. So these depository participants are actually the agents of this depository. These are actually a banks or financial service company who carries out the transfer of units to unit holders in dematerialized forms and maintains the records. For example, we have this ICICI Securities, ShareCan or India Infoline. All these are depository participants who are actually the agents of these depository, either NSDL or CDSL. NSDL is the National Securities Depository Limited, that is the depository of National Stock Exchange, or CDSL, Central Depository Services Limited, which is the depository of the Bombay Stock Exchange. So depository participants are the intermediaries between the mutual fund firm as well as the depositories, NSDL or CDSL. Have the bankers. Now for this purpose of cash transaction, we require bank accounts. So bank accounts are to be open, current accounts and other accounts of the mutual funds. Also have legal advisors, that is lawyers who are appointed to comply with the legal formalities. And then if at all there are some problems with regard to the mutual funds, so we have these lawyers who are also parties to the mutual funds, and also the auditors who are responsible for the inspection of the books of accounts maintained by the mutual funds. So in this way we have seen the different people involved in the mutual fund or the parties to a mutual fund. So they are the sponsor, the trustees, asset management company, AMC, then the custodian, then we have the other functionaries like registrar and transfer agents, brokers, selling agents and distributors, depository participants, bankers, legal advisors and auditors. Thank you.